As you're speaking there, we just want viewers to be aware that those doors you're looking at there, those glass doors, this is from the South Korean side, the southern side of the border. Those are the doors from which President Trump will emerge shortly, walking north towards the line that separates north from south, and presumably Kim Jong-un walking, of course, from the opposite direction, North Korea, and we expect this to happen at any moment there. We've seen members of the President's Secret Service detail there in advance. They've been laying the groundwork, and here comes the President, walking north from South Korea.
Good to see you again. I've never expected to meet you at this place.
Step over to this side.
If Your Excellency take a step forward, you will be the first U.S. president to cross the border.
U.S. president to cross the border.
Get out of the way. Move. Clear. All of you. Clear. Take a picture here? No.
Hey.
Very good. Hey. Come on. Move. Wait till they move.
Come on,
Wait till they move. Thank you. This is a great moment.
Big moment. Big progress. Tremendous reference.
Yes, enough.
Okay, guys, come on. Come on. Straight, they're going straight. They're going straight.
I might have failed set.
I was in Japan, and then I was supposed to and you said yes. I said
Hey, Triple, well done.
How do you feel?
feel great. It's a great honor to be here.
As you can see, this shows that nobody has expected this moment.
Mr. President, U.S. school right here. U.S. school right here.
Chairman Kim, how do you feel?
김 위원장님 어떻게 기분이 어떠십니까?
The fact that President Trump came over here and physically stepped foot onto our North Korean soil, this is a historic moment.
이 행동 자체만
This action in itself, you should not be looking at just this act, but this has a lot of significance because it means
과거를 청산하고
that we want to bring an end to the unpleasant past and try to create a new future. So it's a very courageous and determined act.
I said, hey, I'm over here. I want to call Chairman Kim. And we got to meet and stepping across that line was a great honor. A lot of progress has been made. A lot of friendships have been made, and this has been in particular a great friendship. So I just want to thank you. That was very quick notice, and I want to thank you.
내가 지금 얘기하고 싶은 거는 아주 무한한 영광이다라는 얘기입니다. 내가 G20의 약사가 한국에 오게 되니까 그런데 김 위원장한테 전화를 하고 연락을 해서 한번 만나야 되겠다라고 했습니다. 그러니까 오랜 통보를 하지 않았는데도 즉각 응답해 주셔서 대단히 감사드립니다. 우리는 지금까지 아주 엄청난 많은 진전을 이루었다고 생각합니다. 그리고 영광입니다.
So we're going to go inside. We're going to talk for a little while about different things, and a lot of really positive things are happening, and I'm glad you could be here to see it. But tremendous positivity, really great things are happening, and in a lot of places. But we met and we liked each other from day one, and that was very important.
조금 있다가 우리가 시간을 보내서 서로 그 얘기를 좀 할 예정입니다. 지금까지 우리는 대단한 그러한 진전을 이루었습니다. 우리는 서로 만나자마자 서로 아주 느낌이 좋았습니다. 그리고 서로 좋아하고 있습니다. 아마도 많은 진전을 이룰 수 있을 것 같습니다.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Oh, sorry. I would invite him right now. Let's go. To the White House.
Stay behind me.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've just witnessed quite a moment there. President Trump walking across the border from South Korea to North Korea, greeted by the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, followed very quickly by Kim Jong-un crossing the border from north to south, welcomed by the U.S. President Donald Trump. And just for a moment there, both of them side by side, shoulder to shoulder, speaking about each other and this moment. President Trump called it a great honor to step across the border. He said a lot of progress has been made. He said about his personal relationship with Kim that we met and we liked each other. And he said that that is very important. Kim Jong-un, also a rare opportunity to hear directly from the North Korean leader. He said that this has a lot of significance in his words, that it means that we want to bring an end to the unpleasant past. He also praised the U.S. president as courageous for making this moment happen. We're going to listen to them again. Here's President Trump speaking.
I'm the U.S. fool. I'm the U.S. fool. I'm the U.S. fool. Come here. Thank you. Yeah, he's okay. He's okay. He's okay. Excuse me, official. I don't have a shot. No, I don't have a shot.
Presented such a big hope to be 80,000 people.
Behind the security detail there, President Trump and Kim Jong-un of North Korea still next to each other. This is on the south side of the border, just yards from the north. I think we can hear the president's voice there. Let's have a listen for a moment, see if we can make out what he said.
We have just the opposite, and it's my honor, and it's the chairman's honor. I can say we worked well together, and Mr. President, thank you.
내가 또 얘기해야 될 것은 내가 처음 대통령으로 취임했을 때 이 그 한반도에는 상당히 많은 갈등과 그런 의심의 의혹이 있었습니다. 그런데 이제 완전히 반대가 되었습니다. 엄청나게 많은 그런 진전이 있었고 그런 그 맥락에서 두 분 정상님께 감사드립니다.
나도 이 자리를 함께 아주 밝은 앞을 관망할 수 있는 순간을 마련하는 데 커다란 공헌을 하신 분들께 감사의 말씀을 드리겠습니다.
I would like to also take this opportunity to express my gratitude for all your assistance. Having
Okay, switch back. Yes, all of us. To the back. All of us together. Yes. Back to the yellow line, guys. Back to the yellow line.
There we see President Trump, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, Moon Jae-in of South Korea. We've just witnessed a remarkable moment. President Trump, as Kim himself said, when he stepped across the border, said to him, "You're going to be the first U.S. president to cross." President Trump accepted that invitation, stepped across the border into North Korea, and then shortly afterward, Kim Jong-un stepped across the border into South Korea. And President Trump just told reporters there that he and Kim are now going to have a more private conversation. This is the moment just a few minutes ago when President Trump took those fateful steps across the border. That line he's about to step across here, that is the border itself, and you could see Kim Jong-un approaching from the north there to welcome him. The words he spoke to the U.S. president as he did cross were, "You're going to be the first U.S. president to cross," and, well, indeed he was. This is the moment as they shook hands there.
Good to see you again. I've never expected
Good to see you again,
at
Kim
this
said.
place. If Your Excellency takes a step forward, you will be the first U.S. president to cross the border of this line.
Good to see you again. I never expected to see you in this place. Those were Kim Jong-un's words to Donald Trump as he walked across the border there and spent, well, a few seconds, perhaps a minute or two in North Korea as he made history as the first U.S. president to cross there. Just some news we have in. We learned that President Trump has now invited Kim to visit the United States, an invitation he extended in the moment there, moments after Kim walked across the border to the south. These images from just moments ago.
Wait till they move. Come on. Wait till they move.
Thank you, Mr. President. Joseph Yun, former U.S. Special Representative to North Korea. He's a CNN Global Affairs analyst. He's with me now. Joseph, describe your reactions to what you just witnessed here.
It is, of course, historic, very historic. Not just Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump, but Moon Jae-in as well. You know, three people. And having it in DMZ is, of course, very meaningful. That is the divide, of course, between North and South Korea, the result of a Second World War when the division took place. So it is very historic. And you can see the relations between Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump are indeed very warm, very friendly. I mean, my question is, can that be translated into some progress so that North Korea finally makes a significant move on denuclearization? Remember, that is the problem, and that is the problem we've had for past 2.5 decades. And now you can see them going into a conversation. I mean, let's hope they talk some substance, you know? Let's hope they talk some substance, because in Hanoi, they had some offers from both sides. And, you know, Jim, you and I were in Hanoi. We were surprised, very surprised, when the talks broke off abruptly. So there was something on the table in Hanoi. The crux of the matter seems to be how much can Kim Jong-un do on denuclearization, and how much can Donald Trump do on sanctions? Remember, they have offered Yongbyon. And the problem with just Yongbyon is that, you know, we paid for it twice before. Once in mid-90s when we had agreed framework, and then second time during the six-party talks. So if you talk to the experts, both in South Korea and US, they feel Yongbyon by itself is not enough, especially when we know for sure that they have other nuclear sites, specifically...
Ambassador Yun, these are live pictures. These are live pictures from inside a bilateral meeting, Trump and Kim. Let's listen in.
미리 사전에 합의된 만남이 아닌가 이런 말들도 하던데, 사실 난 어제 아침에 선생님께서 그런 의향을 표시하신 걸 보고 나 역시 깜짝 놀랐고 정식으로
I was very surprised
오늘 여기서 만날 거
to hear about
제안하시는
your
말씀을
offer on the
오후
tweet.
늦은 시간에
And only late in the afternoon, I was able to confirm your invitation.
Prearranged through the letters you have sent me. But myself was surprised yesterday morning when you expressed the willingness to meet with me here, and also when we got the official confirmation late yesterday afternoon.
나도 아빠를 다시 만나고 싶고 또
I had wanted to meet you
제가
again.
특히나 이런 장소에서 만나는 건 우리 북과 남 사이에는 분단의
Especially
상징이고 또
for
이렇게
both Koreas, this
나쁜
place is
과거를
a sign
연상케 하게 되는 이런
unfortunate
자리에서
history of the past
오랜
and
적대적 관계였던 우리 두 나라가 이렇게
So
여기서
for
평화에
our
합숙하는 것
two
자체가
Koreas to be able to have this opportunity for me to meet you here is very significant. This means that we can feel at ease and meet each other with positive mindsets.
긍정적인 영향을 미칠 수
I
있다고
believe that this will have a positive influence in all of our discussions in the future.
And this place of our meeting is a symbol of the separation between the North and the South, and also a reminder of unfortunate past. And as the two countries which share a long unfortunate past, meeting at such a place shows that we are willing to put an end to the unfortunate past and also open a new future and provide positive opportunities in the future.
President Trump and myself, we have an excellent relationship with each other. If it wasn't for that good relationship, we would not have been able to make this sudden meeting possible. So this excellent relationship in the future as well, I hope that it can be the foundation for better things in the future that people will be not expecting. And this will be a very mysterious force that allows us to overcome many difficulties that existed in the past.
The two of us, it would not have been possible for you to have this kind of opportunity. So I would like to use this strong relation to create more good news, which nobody expects in the past, and also to propel the good relationship with our country, propel these people.
Well, I want to thank you, Chairman. You hear the power of that voice. Nobody's heard that voice before. He doesn't do news conferences, in case you haven't heard. And this was a special moment. And this is, I think, really, as President Moon said, this is a historic moment, the fact that we're meeting. And I want to thank Chairman Kim for something else. When I put out the social media notification, if he didn't show up, the press was going to make me look very bad. So you made us both look good, and I appreciate it. But we've developed a great relationship. I really think that if you go back 2.5 years and you look at what was going on prior to my becoming president, it was a very, very bad situation, a very dangerous situation for South Korea, for North Korea, for the world. And I think the relationship that we've developed has meant so much to so many people. And it's just an honor to be with you, and it was an honor that you asked me to step over that line, and I was proud to step over the line. I thought you might do that. I wasn't sure, but I was ready to do it, and I want to thank you. It's been great. It's been great. Very historic. They were just saying, one of the folks from the media was saying this could be a very historic moment, and I guess that's what it is, but I enjoy being with you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad.
All right, guys, back out the door, please. Back out the door. Straight out back. Thank you. Straight back out, guys. Thank you. Straight back out.
Well, as you can see there in the picture, the president's daughter, Ivanka Trump, and son-in-law, Jared Kushner, among those attending this bilateral here between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un, when he had his moment to speak, said that this is an opportunity for the two countries to set aside what he called their unfortunate past. He described his relationship with President Trump as an excellent one, and one that made what he called a sudden meeting possible. President Trump, given his chance to speak, spoke about the power of the voice of Kim Jong-un there, called it an historic moment, and once again mentioning the press coverage of this all. 6th or 7th time he's done that since he's arrived up at the DMZ, saying, if you didn't show up, too, Chairman Kim, the press would have made us look very bad, said the president. The two of them are going to continue their discussions there, we believe, bilateral. We don't know how long that discussion will take. We also don't know the specificity of this bilateral. Will they get into possible concessions or just the timing of another meeting? Will this signal the restart of negotiations or more just relationship building between these two leaders? After that moment we witnessed of President Trump crossing the border into North Korea, and now Kim Jong-un crossing the border south into South Korea. Paula Hancock is with me here at the DMZ. We're just a short distance away from where this meeting is taking place between Kim and Trump. We should note throughout that behind the smiles, Kim Jong-un is a brutal dictator. He has tens of thousands of political prisoners. He starves his people to fund his military and his nuclear program. He has murdered members of his own family who challenged his authority and his leadership. That is the backdrop here, but this is a president in Trump who's been willing to look beyond that in a Kim or a Putin or a Xi Jinping and speak about the power of their relationship. I should just note, Paula, we've just learned that they are meeting in private now, Kim and Trump. Describe what you watched in these last few minutes here, since you've been up to that border area to see a U.S. president take a step across the border.
I mean, it is remarkable. It is something that 24 hours ago you would not have expected to happen. Before you saw that tweet from the U.S. president, it was something that did seem that it couldn't happen. But of course, it is an image that certainly here in South Korea will be played on a loop for months to come, and certainly in the United States as well, around the world. That is an image that is there to stay. What it does symbolize, apart from a remarkable historic moment and photo opportunity, is hopefully these talks are no longer stalled. We have seen very little progress between these two sides since Hanoi summit in February. In fact, we have seen Kim Jong-un go back to some of his missile testing. Yes, the short-range missile testing, but missile testing all the same. So what I think many will hope this actually means is that at least the two sides are talking again, and it is a top-down process. It always has been.
Notable absence from this bilateral is Moon Jae-in of South Korea. This is a one-on-one Trump to Kim communication channel here. That is by Kim Jong-un's choice, is it not?
Yes, that's very good to note. We did see President Moon Jae-in after the two had walked back across the MDL. We saw him briefly, but then he peeled away so that these two leaders could talk. We've heard a lot of criticism from North Korea towards South Korea in recent days. Just last week, Moon Jae-in had said in an interview that he believed that there were behind-the-scenes dialogue between the US and North Korea to try and set up this third summit. The very next day, we had a response from KCNA, from the Foreign Ministry, saying that's simply not true. And if we wanted that, we would not go through you, South Korea. This is between us and the United States. So it was a real proverbial public slapdown to President Moon Jae-in. So we also heard Moon Jae-in saying, I will be at the DMZ, but this is between the US and North Korea. He was at pains to say that as well. He's obviously clear that Kim Jong-un does not want him moderating and mediating.
And it's clear from who's present in the room. We did know that others were present in the room, at least at the start, and that is the president's daughter and son-in-law, Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner, and we saw the Treasury Secretary present there too. We're replaying this moment just because, well, we've never seen this before. Donald Trump shaking the hand of Kim Jong-un right at the North Korean border. When he arrived there, Kim Jong-un's words to him were, good to see you again. I never thought I would see you here. And then he invited the U.S. president to cross the border into the north, saying that you will be the first president to do this. President Trump had said he was open to that invitation. Well, he accepted that invitation. There he is, stepping across, and there he is on North Korean soil, a first for a U.S. president, followed soon after by Kim, taking a step back into the south, where he is now meeting face-to-face with the U.S. president. Anna Coren has been monitoring this from Seoul, the events throughout the day. Do we know, Anna, the substance of this bilateral, whether this is about relationship building or the possibility of more specific discussions of how to restart the actual nuclear negotiations?